15, what everyone writes. Now, I don't know what, I mean...
You're the family genealogist.
No, everybody says this in print, but if you've got it in writing from him, then I go with you.
I don't have it in writing from anybody.
Oh, okay.
But that's what I heard, and that's the best I can... the young ones might be interested in going upstairs because there's a second story up there to see how the relatives used to put up with the winter storms.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was this built by him or was this here when he moved?
It was here.
He just moved in.
Because he bought it from McCune.
From McCune.
You writing this down?
I hope you fellas are better gardeners.
area.
But boy, you know, the tomatoes and peppers.
Our neighbors just got roosters. This is where your plow comes. Oh, he's got turnips. We went camping last night.
Yeah, but I couldn't camp in a while.
That's how it begins to leak. We've had it jacked up once, and it looks like I'm going to have to have it again.
As I recall, the oldest, most rickety building that I knew of was right here. It was a long building, and we were forbidden to go in it because it was right in all over.
Well, you know, that building was full of junk when we moved here, and the boards about that wide and about 10 feet long. So now it's our recycling. How do you like that table? 4 boards on that table. 4 boards. 1, 2, and there's one down there like that, and another one here, and that's it. And here, this is what the Dean kids used to sit on. See how those pegs are in the half of that? That's really something. We don't want to miss out. Asking, now this has been done recently. I don't know how recently. But I've been trying to get folks to tell me how you can do something about patching that. Nobody can tell me.
The old home place over there, the Elsie Raymond lived in, their back bedroom's got the same type of...
So I just
So-
leave it.
So that building, when was that building built? This was the
This is 1855.
55, so 4 years later.
Can you pick up and instruct us?
Well, I'm trying to, I don't pick up as well as I thought I could because I've pushed the game as much as possible. But I do see.
Yeah, it looks like my house. These must have been bedrooms
What's
over
that?
here.
1964.
There's only 2 of them at that time. My dad and his brother, and they just, one lived.
Buy this place, and the highest bid was $6,000. So the mayor, Nichols, I think that was his name, Nichols, was a friend of Carpenter's, and he said 6,000 is the highest bid. Do you want to make it any higher? And he said, yeah, $100. So for the 6,100, he got the farm in 1960.
You happen to know who the $6,000 bid was? Who that
No,
particular one first
but
was?
whoever that guy is can sue Carpenter. But Carpenter is very dead. So, but anyway, then we used to come down here on vacation from Michigan because I taught up about that deep, so we got out. When we got her outside and in the car, she said, I'm beginning to feel a little bit better. You know what the trouble was? The daggone gas inside was not vented, and it was carbon monoxide. We damn near died.
Well, you know that there was no, yes, there was gas in there.
Yeah, and when we moved down here, the guy had I'll show you the room where he had a hot water heater unvented.
Really?
Yeah, and going all the time. Craziest thing I've ever heard of.
Or what's left?
Okay, well, wait, we'll lock you in.
Well, this is a regular. This is just sort of.
He's up, we're taking a picture.
Runs off of. Hey,
He said, don't lock me in.
double it.
I couldn't,
It just doesn't look like it should be
Well,
sitting.
he wants you.
I couldn't.
Yeah, where do you have to stick it?
Well, come on in, girls.
That'll be enough stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, can you do breakfast? I get two.
Sure, you can go in.
What do I hear for $8?
Imagine a bench,
Yes,
all
that
that.
was
Full
all along
length.
here, yeah.
just as many tools, and put another one right there, right along the edge. There used to be a lot of rock there, and there's another one.
Well, where are we going in?
Lots and lots of rusting tools
That's funny stuff.
Yeah. So,
and oil
this is
cans.
what we, and that's where the cats sleep.
Box
They
they
have
go.
Putting up with it.
Three
their
rings.
table.
Get that.
This was a big iron cook stove.
Hi.
I think
Wood burning, and then I think they converted it to gas. You talk about the biggest wrought iron stove, it was right here.
Nothing at all.
My husband Sean. And our two children.
Oh, and not only that, you girls would be interested in this. This is a room where Lindy kept your chickens.
Oh, we heard about that. I heard about that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Murdy, her
Chickens in
sister,
the whole house.
were, my parents, which lived down by Art Smith,
Yeah.
my parents lived there when I was born. And my parents farmed for Charlie and Murdy, and the whole attic is chickens.
Works, we never use it, but we
Oops, sorry.
could use it if we wanted to. We tried it once or twice, and it draws nicely. But the only thing we did to this room that's any, was to add that. And that was supposed to have been walnut. We weren't here, but you can see that's about as much walnut as I am.
Now, when they lived here, this was the living area.
Oh.
Meaning everything else was sort of being used for storage. Now, I think she went somewhere to sleep, but when she
She had a small cot.
Right there, she slept right in
over
front
there.
of that thing.
or right here, there was an old leather ottoman or
Right,
something
wouldn't have
right
been by the
here.
door. It's a
But-
real
but-
small cot.
But when you visited, when you came over here, this was sort of the social room. And so between this room and that room, that's where
As far as you
90% of my time as a kid when I was here was in that room and this room, maybe in there occasionally. But this was all sort of off limits, and when you were sort of special, she would take you back and show you some of the things that were up in here. But she didn't really use them.
That's his.
Well, boy, they were full of junk when we moved
And I
here.
think something like he did change the structure.
Yeah, it's Charles Byron. That's the guy who did the mural for Ohio.
By the way, this was here.
Yes.
This thing was here.
Now,
This was in the kitchen. This was in the kitchen.
Yeah, it looks vaguely familiar, but
And that's the other side of that wall there. By the way, did you around there and around the corner?
Okay.
So Charles Byron and I went down there and sketched this thing out, and he came back and painted it. And in 1971.
He did a painting at Federal Hockey School
Yeah.
too.